Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today, and in this video I'm going to be ranking all of the live-action Batman actors by how well their version of the character hides their identity. Obviously, one of the main characteristics when it comes to Batman is his ability to hide his identity, and there's more layers to that than just his costume. It's also how he acts as Bruce Wayne, and just kind of having that dual personality. So without any further ado, let's hop right into the ranking. Coming in last place is Lewis Wilson. Now this was actually the very first actor to play Batman in live action, and this was a serial in the 1940s. Now obviously, first of all, the costume was made out of some pretty cheap material, so it definitely probably wasn't too difficult to tell who was under there. But this version of Batman also just drives around in the same car that Bruce Wayne does, which is extremely suspicious. Now I will say Lewis Wilson actually did a pretty good job of acting a little bit different as Bruce Wayne personality wise compared to Batman, which is definitely probably the most important thing. But still, there's just no way that no one would have found out his identity in this universe. And it also doesn't help that he goes everywhere with his ward Dick Grayson, who's also Robin, and then they're everywhere together. So both of their identities are pretty obvious. Coming in at number 8 is Robert Lowry, and he played Batman 6 years later in 1949. And honestly, take everything I said about Lewis Wilson and apply it to him. And the only reason I really put him above Lewis Wilson is because although he does drive Bruce Wayne's car, at least he puts the hood up when he's Batman, so it looks slightly different, I guess. There actually is a scene at the end of this serial where he has this voice recording of Bruce Wayne prepared, so someone actually hears it on the phone, thinks Bruce Wayne is talking on the phone while Batman is standing right there. Coming in at number 7 is Adam West. Now obviously, when it comes to this costume, it's very easy to tell that it's Bruce Wayne, just because this was way before they did like the black outline around the eyes. And when he is Bruce Wayne, he also goes everywhere with Dick Grayson like the other two actors. And when he's Batman, he's always with Robin, so it's just very suspicious. But at least this version of Batman has his own Batmobile. And actually throughout this series, there's multiple times where Batman somehow like proves that he's not Bruce Wayne by tricking people with some sort of technology. But still, nonetheless, this is not realistic in the slightest. Coming in at number 6 is George Clooney, and this is more of the modern era of Batman actors, but it's still not really the most realistic. As a matter of fact, in the movie that this version of the character is in, it actually feels like it's trying to be the Adam West Batman series, but like with a $200 million budget. Even though this version of Batman does have the black outline around his eyes, it's very noticeable because it doesn't really blend in with his costume. But I will say George Clooney did a decent job of having a little bit of a different personality when he's in public as Bruce Wayne. But overall, this version of the character doesn't really do a great job of hiding his secret identity. Coming in at number 5 is Val Kilmer. And I will definitely say there's multiple ways in his movie where he goes through a pretty good amount of effort to hide his identity. But there's also the one point in the movie where he's like at the circus and he's immediately willing to shout in front of a bunch of people that he is Batman. And he also gets into a fight with a lot of people when no one else does, which would definitely make people wonder how Bruce Wayne is able to fight so well. And of course also when he went to the therapist, he admitted that he was seeing bats in the ink blots. So there's a lot of stuff this version of the character does right and a lot of stuff he does wrong in order to keep his identity a secret. Coming in at number 4 is Robert Pattinson. And this version is a little tough to evaluate because he does a good job of hiding in the shadows and that kind of stuff. Even when he's not Batman and he has like some other gear on and he's just walking around in Gotham City, you wouldn't even be able to tell that's Bruce Wayne. But at the same time, this version of the character doesn't really do fundraisers and that kind of stuff like the other versions do. And he doesn't really even have a public image. And when he goes out in public as Bruce Wayne, he still kind of has that depressed look on his face, like the exact same expression that he does when he's Batman. Not to mention that his costume actually exposes quite a bit of his jawline, which I feel like just makes it very easy to associate it with this version of Bruce Wayne. And also at the end of the movie, you kind of have Batman out in front of a crowd while the sun's rising, so it doesn't feel like he has the rules that he should only be out at night, because that would help hide his identity. Coming in at number 3 is Michael Keaton. And I would say overall on a performance level, he definitely does a good job of making Bruce Wayne and Batman seem different, although his take on Bruce Wayne is definitely a little bit suspicious just because he seems to be inconsistent in what he does. But nonetheless, I think he easily has the best change in voice, and this was the first actor where they decided to put the black makeup around the eyes. Coming in at number 2 is Ben Affleck, and this is definitely one where when he's Bruce Wayne, he's able to go to events and that kind of stuff and feel like a different person, feel like a businessman. And I would say this version of Batman probably probably has the most developed technology and security and that kind of stuff. So all of that definitely helps. But coming in at number 1 is Christian Bale, and I think this is the version of Batman that easily has the biggest difference between his Bruce Wayne persona and his Batman persona. Honestly, probably by a long shot. Just the way he acts as Bruce Wayne and interacts with other people, in no way does it hint that he would spend his nights fighting crime. And of course his voice is pretty different, although his Batman voice isn't the best. He also definitely has the least amount of his jawline exposed on his mask. And he definitely does have some pretty good technology that would contribute to him hiding his identity. But let me know how you would rank all these actors by how well their version of the character hides their identity. Obviously, it's definitely not an easy thing to adapt into live action, but some of them have definitely pulled it off pretty successfully. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.